Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I want to share 3 ways to reveal the superhero within. When I was a little boy, I felt most powerful running around the house in my underwear, specifically my underoos. Do you remember those?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They were a matching t-shirt and underwear branded in a fictional character. So I had Darth Vader. I had Batman, and my favorite of all, Superman. I'd run around the house, arms outstretched, flying through the air, feeling like I could take on the world. Now, as the years passed by and running around in the house and my underwear was less acceptable, I traded in those underoos for a full-length Superman costume my mom made for me. And I felt like I could leap a building in a single bound. But not everybody felt that. You see, when I was 8 years old, I learned the danger of being myself. My family had just moved to a suburb of Chicago, and I met a lot of new people, including a girl named Michelle, a very pretty girl that I developed a crush on. One day I summoned up the courage and I asked Michelle, "Will you be my girlfriend?" She said yes. That day I raced home. I felt like I could fly. I was on cloud 9. But the next day, I did not need X-ray vision to see that something was wrong. Michelle seemed distant. So I asked her, "Do you still want to be my girlfriend?" She looked at me and said, "Maybe not, because you're kind of a spaz." Nowadays, that word is considered a slur, and even back in the 1980s, it was not a very nice thing to be called. And I knew what she meant. I was often bouncing off the walls, doing crazy things, but I felt like a kryptonite dagger had been thrust into my heart. I slunk away. Now, I did not have the self-awareness or self-control to change myself at that age, but somewhere inside, I had learned that lesson that being myself might not be the best way get what I want. But I couldn't repress that superhero energy. I bounded through my childhood, acting in every play I could, doing goofy things. In high school, I acted in plays, I ran for student government. I would do things like sing the answers in chemistry class. I didn't get the reaction I wanted from my teacher, but some of my students, fellow classmates, laughed. Not everyone. I'd hear words like arrogant, show off, attention hog. And there was always a girl, a pretty girl, who thought of me as the goofy friend. And I struggled with those 2 parts of my identity. This all came to a head the day I graduated high school. I'd cooked up a secret plan with a friend of mine who was in the band. They were playing Pomp and Circumstance. But when I ascended the podium to accept my diploma, he would secretly strike up the opening chords to the Superman theme song. Dun, 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 dun. At which point I would part my robes to reveal a full-length Superman costume my mom had made for me that year to replace my earlier one. The day came and I chickened out. I had finally started to listen to that voice that said, "Who do you think you are?" So I left the suit at home, hanging in the closet. And that's where it stayed for many years, gathering dust. In college, I grew serious, reflective, religious, and felt like I needed to put away those childish things, be more serious. But the more I tried to squelch that superhero energy, the more lost and depressed I felt. I remember one day hiding in the bowels of Suzzalo Library at the UW campus, hunched over a book, munching on a candy bar, and wondering what had happened to me. Over the years, I did find ways to dust off my superhero cape. At my bookstore job, I would race around the sales floor at night, running laps, and read aloud absurdist poems that a colleague had written. But I still kept a lot in, part because of the very pretty young woman that I worked with who happened to be named Michelle. So I would struggle between those two identities. Sometimes a superhero won, like the day that I got married on a stage, the very stage I grew up in acting, the community theater. I wrote a script that incorporated our wedding vows. But each time I'd pull off a bit, I would hear that voice, "Who do you think you are?" This came to a head this past Thanksgiving. I had been trying to be more social and reveal that self, but there were a lot of friends gathered who were not part of the family that my brother had invited. And I felt anxious, but I pushed through. I joined into the Jeopardy game and singing karaoke with gusto. But the next day, talking about the event with my wife, I said, I just felt kind of drained. And she said, that's just social anxiety. You'll get through it. And she was right. Her name, by the way, that wise woman, is Michelle, that same Michelle that I worked with at the bookstore. So I didn't scare her completely away yet with that superhero energy. And she was right. It takes courage to keep showing up. It also takes a code. Every superhero has a code. I'm learning where those boundaries are. And when you do that, you can unlock your creativity, your true self. So my message to you today is simple. Don't leave your suit hanging at home. Wear it. And when the time is right and you're ready, make sure that you reveal it. Thank you very much.
God. Yeah.
I trust my secret identity is safe with all of you.
Thanks, Scott.